get demoted. But there you go.
Yeah, Aaron Moore getting his first Super League game with the whistle, which is progress for him. He refereed the Women's International, didn't he, recently? So he's continuing to step up the refereeing ranks there. Anything you picked out from seeing the highlights of this game, or anything you've read that's took your notice?
Not really. It was just a blowout. I mean, no, not really, Mark. Just another blowout score. It's a shame, really. We've got quite a few of those kicking around at the moment. Not as bad as the NRL, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, not as bad as the Origin series, but it's pretty bad.
I don't know.
I mean, there was absolute, just repeat after repeat down that left-hand side with Broadbent's 4 tries. They seem, if you watch the highlights quickly enough, you'll think you've just seen the same try 4 times. I think, but I did quite enjoy Ryan Briley's try for Leeds. He's picked up a bad injury, didn't he, to his eye? Was that in this game? Well, yeah, because they didn't play again, did they? So he's picked up a bad injury, and that's a shame for him. But did you see his try? It was straight out of the Try-Tag Rugby playbook, really. The way he twisted his body to get through the gap and sort of went sideways through the gap was like a player twisting the hips to avoid having the tag pulled off as they go through the line. And I feel like I want to make a mention of Tom Holroyd's try as well. We've talked about him in the stats there, leading the meter numbers, but his hot stepping try to round things off was great footwork from a big man to bring in a classic cliche there. Huddersfield versus Catalans then, the brown finger match.
Oh Lord,
it's back.
Do we have to go back to that?
It's back on the agenda. So Huddersfield 0, Catalans 20 was the half-time score, so you could say it was probably done by that stage. It finished 50 points to 12 to the Dragons. Ben Thaler was the man with the whistle. And in terms of the stats, Catalans won most of the main stats, other than conceding 7 more penalties, which might explain why they had 3 men sin-binned as well in the game. But their wins weren't all by big margins, unlike the scoreline, actually, interestingly. 178 more metres, which is decent, but not 40 points decent. 2 more breaks, which is decent, but not 40 points different. They had a slightly better team tackle success rate. They made 1 fewer error. Their biggest win other than the score was 1.7 metres per carry better average gain. So the stats don't tell us how Catalans won this game. Individually, Fuad Yahar 139 metres, Sammy Stoney Lange with a try and 125 metres, Tom Davies with a try and 122 metres, and Julian Busquet with 114 metres. For the losing Giants, Ash Golding with a try and 45 tackles, Josh Jones with 40 tackles, 12 of which were marker tackles, and Jake Wardle with a try assist, 100 metres and 2 clean breaks. From the disciplinary on this one, with there being a few sin binnings and the aforementioned butt assault, Cassiano from Catalans got a grade B dangerous contact charge, which carried a 1-match penalty notice, but it was downgraded on appeal to a grade A charge and a no-game penalty notice, so he's free to get back to action. Kenny Edwards of Huddersfield, we've talked about his grade F other contrary behaviour charge, which was referred to a tribunal and resulted in a 10-match ban. Gil Dudson got a grade A dangerous contact charge, a 1-match penalty notice for that. I'm not sure if that was for the incident he got sin-binned on or not, but he was one of the 3 sin-binnings for the Dragons in that second half. James Maloney got a caution for dangerous contact, and Kenny Edwards got a caution for dangerous contact. Fan views, do you want to take the first one?
So from Carlston, Catalan win this game 50-12 after 3 sin bins, scoring with 11 men on the field. How bad is Huddersfield, and a good debut and try assist by that Price guy?
Alan Walker said, started with both teams trying to outthink each other like JP Satra and Bertie Russell.
Yeah, indeed. 2 philosophers.
Bertie Russell.
Yeah, a nice punchy line for him there.
I think I've never occurred to me to get so familiar with philosophers. There you go.
that have a nickname for one. Yeah, there you go.
Then Giants went rough stuff, so Eldrax bashed them, as the great philosopher Raudonikis once said. This is classic Alan Walker. The big guys built the platform and the backs did the rest. 13v12 made it more of a contest, sort of. Giants fans kept their distance from each other and from the stadium. The Giants defence did the same. 3 yellows, whatever.
That is an absolutely belting review, Alan.
Review
Tom
of the week
Andrews,
for Mr. Walker.
Yeah, it is definitely. Tom Andrews put this on thinking it would be a close one. I was wrong. Catalan looks scary good this year. Not that Huddersfield put up much of a fight, even with a 2-man advantage, which is rather astonishing. But there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the game, but from the highlights I've seen and from what I've picked up, it looks like the 3 pivots at Catalans are back into the sort of early season metronomic working seamlessly through the passing patterns form that they were in. You know, everything in the first half had touches of class from Drinkwater, Maloney and Tompkins. Like, all of them were involved in that. I mean, I suppose apart from Drinkwater's simming at the start of the second half, the end of the second half, sorry, they wouldn't have had a blot against him, those guys, in this performance. Also, McMeekan continues to impress and flash up on the highlight reels. I don't know what his full 80s are looking like, but is providing the highlights. Ash Golding's long-range try, though, for Huddersfield, which came from great work from Jake Wardle at that point in the right centre. I think he played there all game. That was a fine effort, albeit they had a man advantage at that time, and it still took some scoring from Golding. But yeah, they managed to score that long-range effort with a man advantage, but Tom Davies tried to round things off. Was with a 2-man disadvantage. Yeah, McMeekan's skill and Vare's quick hands. It still created an overlap, unbelievably. I guess the towel had been thrown in. The towel had been thrown in to an extent, wouldn't it have been? You'd thought by Huddersfield at that stage, but still, to create an overlap like that with a 2-man disadvantage shows that there's a lot about this Catalan side right now.
Yeah, there is, but I mean, Watson must be absolutely tearing the last strands of his hair out, conceding a try like that against 11 men. Catalan are a formidable team. I mean, I was talking about the balance in the Warrington side. This is a very balanced Catalan side. They've not only got the class in the backs with the likes of Tompkins and Davis, but their pack is formidable. I mean, it's a really formidable pack. They lay a platform, those boys. And then
they've got the wild card, Artem Morg, who comes off the bench and electrifies things.
Yeah, they're very exciting to watch. Let's hope this is the normal Catalan season and it'll all start to fade off in the second half of the season. But they don't look like it at the moment. They look very good to me. And I wasn't at all surprised when they turned Huddersfield over. It'll be interesting to see how they go against Leeds this Friday, I think, isn't it?
There were some aspects of this Giants side that looks like a pretty solid Giants side, but when you look at the 1, 6, 7, and 9 that's been named on the team sheet, Ollie Ashelbart was at fullback. He's an okay player, but maybe not quite good enough. That was because Ashton Golding's been pushed into hooker because they've got no other options there. Yeah. Sam Wood and Oliver Russell were the halfbacks. I mean, Sam Wood's not a halfback, and Oliver Russell's still learning. Young Will Price made his debut off the bench as well, slipping into those pivot positions. And I don't want to pop the bubble a bit around young Price, but his try assist was blatantly forward. Massively forward, but
he's looked off his dad.
He still showed some promise, and there's clearly talent there to be worked with. And making his debut at a young age, with a lot of talk around it because of who his dad is and what his dad has done in the game. I I think there's excitement there, and maybe that's the one nice thing for Huddersfield. But there's not a lot else positive to say for Huddersfield, whereas Catalans look super strong.
They do. They absolutely do.
We had a few jokers getting some funny comments about the Castleford St Helens game before I deleted it off the form. So shall we go through those? Because I'm sure there'll be a laugh or two within them.
Yeah, why not? There was there were quite a few comments on Twitter at the time, Mark, which was funny. So DG.
So did the post go out? Did the post go out? The automatic post?
I thought you'd sent. I thought, was this not the game you sent the post out for, and then it got a comment?
Oh no, there was one the other week. I don't know. There's too many. There's too many to keep on top of.
Yeah, there are. You're a busy man, Mark.
This is a hobby, isn't it? It's not my full-time life, you know.
Don't lift the curtain, Mark. Don't lift the curtain. DG Knight says, didn't catch the game, but from what I gather, Cast team never really got off the bus. To be fair, it could have been a lot worse than 24-0, and it seems the whole team got through the fixture with no further injuries. Ref must have had a great game. As the cliche goes, he's barely had.
Which, if Cast lose 24-0 and no one's talking about the ref, I mean, that's a miracle, isn't it? Pop the Viking said, Cast just didn't show up for this one.
Bruiser 664.
Oh, this one's more serious.
When London, oh, right, okay, I'll stop laughing. When London failed to fulfil their fixture against Toulouse, it was announced that the match wouldn't count towards the minimum number of matches needed to qualify for the playoffs. Is this the same stipulation for the Castleford 2, or was it just London that the rules apply for? I bloody hope not. The number of games we've had called off, we need this game, otherwise we won't qualify for the playoffs.
I honestly don't know the answer to that. It's a different. There's different rules in the champion. You know, they're different competitions. They announce different regulations around these things, and there's different reasons as well. But I really don't know. Is my honest answer to that question, and it is an interesting conundrum. I think they're going to possibly have to rethink the minimum qualification with the amount of games that are being.
Well, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse, I think, Mark, not better over the next few weeks, as we were saying earlier.
Well, they've tried to bring in some things to make it more. They've brought in the flexibility to try and get more games on, haven't they? Which hopefully will be the case. I mean, what we've seen here is teams choosing to call games off.
We'll have fans playing for the teams within the next 2 months.
Some Wigan fans will say that they do a better job than the guys out there at the moment. Anyway, back to a bit of fun here.
John Hamilton, who is the ex-president of the United States, sadly deceased. Good result for Cass, kept it tight, only to concede 24.
Well, John's still alive. I'm confident.
I'm sure he is. Not like the president of the United States.
Neil Ormston says, cynical cancellation by Cass. Teams resting players the week before a cup final is one thing, but seriously, calling a game off. The team should be hammered for this and bringing the game into disrepute. They should have wins deducted. What goes around comes around. Now Fartown have done the same thing. Knackers up their cup final prep, which they deserve. I can't believe they're making me want Saints to win to show them up. Yeah, I suppose that is the fact that they were kind of hoping to use that Huddersfield game where they named pretty much a full-strength squad. After the countless reasons why people couldn't play the week before that me and Sarah went through on last week's show, does kind of show them up a little bit in that they were picking and choosing to an extent there whether they could play or not. I know there was a COVID outbreak in their academy set up, which under these new rules that have just come in would have scuppered them a bit from being able to take advantage of that flexibility. But yeah, it feels like it does feel like they've made a decision here on this one, Castleford, and now they're going to have to go into that game against Salford, having been in relatively poor form, with patched up sides, having to get everything right in a short turnaround time to play against St Helens, who are a top side. So Neil makes a good point there, but it's not enough to